You know what match I want to talk about? And Mark actually said something that it didn't really make sense. This is where I think the 2 weeks kind of hurts you a little bit because Mercedes Moné had the match with Britt Baker, underwhelming, got a lot of people talking, completely been scrubbed. I can't find that match anywhere. And then they make the match for Saturday night with Shida. But a quick turnaround, Mark, not a lot of emotional investment in this match because it's just a quick turnaround. This is where, like I said, the 2 weeks kind of hurt you a little bit. But I will say this. I thought that match was excellent. And
yeah, it was
even
good.
even though I didn't go into that match expecting Shida to win, and quite frankly, Mercedes shouldn't lose a match to Shida on that pay-per-view.
With a 2-week build-up.
Yeah, I thought Mercedes had an excellent match. And I know it's like the end thing right now to hate on Mercedes Moné. I thought the match was really good. So I wanted to give some props to Mercedes because she's gotten a lot of hate, bully, but I thought the match on Saturday was a very good match, my opinion.
Okay, great. It was a good match. What purpose did it serve?
Excellent question. I really don't have an answer for you.
Well, you don't have an answer as to what purpose it served. What the fuck is it doing on the pay-per-view?
Well, I got one for you.
Okay.
You got two standout AEW women's talents on the pay-per-view. They have a large fan base. Mercedes has a fan base. Shida has a fan base. You give them the opportunity to appease their fans and thus making the entire AEW network better.
I believe that this match was done for all of the I'm just going to use the word wrong for lack of a better term right now. I believe the match is done for all the wrong reasons. I believe the match was
So you
done...
think that marketing and promotions is not enough? It's got to be emotional.
No,
it's got to have...
Mark, when I say the wrong reasons, I think the reason why this match was done was to wash away the taste of the Mercedes Moné Britt Baker match from All In. I don't think people particularly liked the match. Everybody was bitching and moaning on it. I defended the match, and I gave you some reasons as to why this match was set up to not be as good as it should have been. I believe the match was done for not storyline reasons, not character reasons. I believe it was done to get a strong match under Mercedes' belt so we could forget the Britt match. Now, I don't give a shit how good the match was, because if it doesn't make sense, it really doesn't make sense. How long has Camille been by Mercedes' side?
2 months, maybe?
2 months, maybe. Let's give it 2 months. Already, we're pulling the bodyguard from the side of Mercedes Moné. Already, we're pulling the heater from the heel champion side. Why? Why are we already That's down the line storytelling where Camille gets involved so much and helps Mercedes retain her championship so much that now somebody has to intervene and keep Camille away from ringside. But we did it in a snap of a finger. And on commentary, 3 times in the body of the match, commentators are saying, Mercedes Moné doesn't need Camille. Mercedes Moné doesn't need Camille. At the end of the match, when Mercedes was leaving, Excalibur's going, wow, like we said earlier, Taz, me and Shivani said it doesn't look like Mercedes Moné needed Camille. And Taz turns around and goes, holy shit, how many times are you going to say it? I heard it the first time. So what are they slamming home? That our heel world champion doesn't need the heater because she's able to out-wrestle everybody else. What fucking good does this do anybody?
Bully walked off.
You win.
Bully did
fatality. Hey, you know what Bully just did, Dave? He walked off on our ass. He just swung and it hit the lights. Hit the lights, Dave.
It's a natural.
Hey.
It was a natural moment where it's a home run to win the game, and he hit the lights, and the sparks are flying. He's walking the bases, and everybody's covering their heads so their hair doesn't catch on fire. Now,
oh my gosh!
But Bully, really good performance by Mercedes Moné on Saturday. Bully, I can't honestly, Bully, I can't. There's nothing I can come back with. I can't.
Dare you to argue.
I won't, because there's nothing to argue about, because what he said makes absolute sense. But the one thing I will say, Bully, about Mercedes being on, do you have certain stars that you have to find a place for on the pay-per-view, that they're box office attraction, that you got to find a place? Again, not ideal, 2-week build. Nothing's going to be a good enough story. I think probably to your other point, Bully, that they're trying to wash away the bad taste of the All-In match, being that, I would have to think that the intention was to have Britt involved in the match on Saturday, and plans changed because of what happened at All In. But Bully, do you feel like there are certain box office attractions that even if there's not a story, you have to find a place for them on a pay-per-view?
Here is the first thing that comes to mind when you bring up this comparison. Barely Legal. You would have thought that they would have found a place for Tommy Dreamer on Barely Legal, being that Tommy was the backbone, the heart and soul of ECW, correct?
Yes.
Tommy Dreamer was not on Barely Legal because at that moment in time, in the lead up to Barely Legal, Tommy Dreamer did not fit into any of the stories. Thus, he wasn't on the pay-per-view. So, why the force feed of the Mercedes match? Why? Because the match against Britt didn't get a big star rating? Why? Because everybody wasn't raving about the match? Why? So she can kick out of Shida's stuff at 1? Sorry, the business of this match does not make sense. Can I tell you that the ladies went in there and they worked very hard to perform? But what were they performing for? Were they performing for the business and for the fans, or were they performing for other reasons?
All right, so let's go to that other reason. Let's go to what you initially said, Bully, that you felt like this match was on the show for all the wrong reasons.
And if you put the match under a microscope, it got very aggressive in there at times. Go back and watch the look on Shida's face. Shida was not enthralled with some of Mercedes Moné's physicality and gave it back to her. That's why Mercedes Moné had to bail out of that ring. And I see Mark shaking his head. So I don't know if he wants to elaborate, but he knows I'm dead on balls accurate right now.
100%. Me and Sheamus a couple of times when we first started wrestling had some of those issues because, like, I can take it. Like, I can let you give me a shot. And I guarantee you I'm going to eat that shit like candy. But if I give it back, I'm the bad guy because it looks different. It feels different. It looks like I'm taking liberties. I'm being a bully. And there was a couple of times in that match where Shida was like, what in the absolute fuck? How about that? And then you go, oh, shit, wait a minute. Hold on, I'm not going to get a full. Let me get 20 seconds. Time out. That shit hurt.
Wow.
It happened at least twice. So I would have loved to been in the back when the match was over so I could just hear, like, the after effects because usually when you have – and there was something happened at AEW. They said that all the security had to run to the back. I wouldn't be surprised if that was why. I wouldn't be surprised.
Jeez, I love this show. God, the stuff you're bringing.
I'm just saying,
today,
I don't want to divulge. I'm not divulging no information. It'll come out on its own.
I love it. I love it. So all right. So that I honestly can't speak of. Your eyes, obviously, Mark Henry, Hall of Famer, Bully Ray, Hall of Famer, your guys, the way you perceive matches, the way you see things, it's going to be completely different than the fans and myself. Go ahead, Bully.
This is not even a perception thing that me and Mark pointed out when it came to the physicality. This is a reality thing. It's right there in front of you. Whether or not you can identify it or not is the issue. As a fan, looking through your fans' eyes, you might not be able to see it.
I didn't.
Can. Huh?
I didn't. To be honest, I did not. I didn't. Now, the first thing I'm going to do when this show is over is go back and watch that match because I want to be able to identify it, because that's why I'm talking to Mark Henry and Bully Ray, because you guys are going to know the reality of the situation. The only thing that I see or the fans see is what you guys want us to see as fans. I did not see that. So now I want to go back and watch that match for that reason.
Bully, were you there when the first time that Kurt and Eddie wrestled and it got a little tight and they came to the back and Eddie jumped Kurt?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually
and
had my
Kurt,
own situation with Eddie like that.
Okay. And then Kurt, handed him his ass and asked him, "What the hell is wrong with you? I'm an Olympic champion. You don't jump me." There's shit that has happened in wrestling from the best guys and some of the worst. Shit goes wrong, or shit gets a little too iffy, or you feel like somebody's taking liberties with you, and then you have to address it. Addressing it in the ring, to me, is a no-no.
Correct.
Unless it's verbal. You say, "Hey, fuck we doing? Are we wrestling or are we fighting?" That's the only time it should get there. You handle the shit in the back. That's the rule. Because I'm opening myself up and closing my eyes. Do it in the ring. But I'm not going to close my eyes in the back. In the back, I'm wide open. My eyes are awake, and I'm like, listen, if anybody jump in, I'm going to fucking crack you first. Okay? We understood. And there will be no mercy. Now, back to you, mister. I'm going to hit you in your fucking mouth and bloody your teeth up. So we hitting each other in the teeth now?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, my bad. I apologize. Okay, that's your one. It don't happen again. I've seen it 1,000 times. Not just with me. Don't think that I'm a fucking bully. It probably happened to me 3 times in my career. But I've seen it, shit, at least once a week for 24 years. It's commonplace. Am I lying, Bully?
Not at all. Not at all. And there was a point in the match where if you go back and watch, you'll see Mercedes catches Shida with a really stiff forearm, like right upside the head. And watch Shida's face. She's registering and she's selling because she didn't have a choice but to register or to sell. Go watch her face. Then watch the kick that Shida catches Mercedes with. That's Shida saying, "You want to play? I'm going to play too." And then watch the second kick that Shida goes for. Mercedes puts her arms up and she bails out of the ring because she didn't want no part of that. This is, all we're talking about, right, is a little side note. This is like an addendum.
Well, we went dirt sheet like a motherfucker.
This ain't no. Wait, hold on. Wait, really quick. I just want to say that's not dirt sheet. That is not dirt sheet. That is 2 Hall of Famers talking shop. That
you're not going to find any dirt sheet guys who are able to point out what me and Mark just pointed out.
That's true. That's true. So,
but that's an addendum to the bigger picture for me. Like, you're like, "Oh, I love the match. It was a great match, blah, blah, blah." Yes, the ladies went in there. They worked hard. It was a good match. But why the match was there all the wrong reasons. I think it was there because they wanted to wash away the Brit match. They felt the need that Mercedes needed to have a higher star match rating on this show. And also the business of Camille. You just brought in the heater. The heater is there to ensure that the heel champion wins every single time with the help of the heater. 2 months in, we're already getting rid of the heater. Mercedes is winning clean, and commentary is force-feeding us that Mercedes doesn't need Camille. So what the fuck do we need Camille for?
You don't need Camille. I mean, from everything that you just said, I want to see Camille back on AEW Dynamite next to Mercedes after what I just saw on Saturday? The answer is probably no.
She was in a dress.
Yeah, she was in a dress.
Did you notice what she,
and did you notice after the match
what she was wearing?
Yeah, a blue dress. And did you notice after the match, Mercedes gets the win, pops right up to her feet, grabs the belts, jumps right out of the ring. Dude, sell the struggle of the match. Isn't Shida like a former champion or something? Whatever
Yes.
she is.
Yes.
Right? Sell
Yes.
the fact that you were just in a fight, a war with Shida. Stay down for a second. Don't just pop right up and jump out of the ring. Sell.